I would love for you to get into how you were recruited into the secret space program and why you turned it down. I really would love to get into that discussion.
Folks that recruited me to go to Mars told me that he was briefed about a descendant coming in to help expose the truth.
What did you learn? What do they have off planet technologies that we're probably going to inherit under Donald Trump and beyond? Welcome, Laura. But before we get started, folks, make sure you hit the pause button. Okay, go down below. There's a Rumble link. Go over to Rumble and follow us over there. QFS1776.com is, without question, the holy grail of what's to come. Okay, T-shirts. You got to get yourself decorated. This way people will ask you, what is XRP? What is the quantum financial system? What is this? What is that? And you send them where? To QFS1776.com, where they need to immerse themselves, because we're going to burn down this system down to the ground. And out of the ashes will rise the phoenix. There'll be nothing to go back to. Believe me when I tell you that. Also, our Telegram groups down below. If you want to learn what's coming and you're sort of a little scared, I understand. Believe me, I was there too at one point. And if you need more than $10,000 worth of XRP or $1 million worth of XRP, you come see me. Send me an email at QFS1776@gmail, and we'll get you as much as you want. Gold and silver. Welcome to CarminesGold.com. Don't waste not even a second looking. Cheaper prices just don't exist. How important is it for you to own gold and silver right now? What does it mean to me personally? There's an economy that's about to crash beyond what words can explain. In 5 words, I'm going to educate you on gold and silver. Are you ready? You need to own some. Simple. Well, guys, we have Laura Eisenhower. Laura Eisenhower, I don't think she needs much of an introduction. She was actually related, I think, to the late president of the United States of America, and she'll tell you all about that. Laura, it's such a pleasure to have you, and it's so amazing to have you come to the Quantum Summit this year. I mean, I don't know if we're going to have any more. I know I just got off a call with Mike Barra, and he said, Mel, we got to bring the Quantum Summit to Vegas. Let's do one in Vegas. I'm like, I don't know. I think you have to really work hard at convincing me to have one after this. I don't think there's going to be anyone anymore, because I don't think there really is a need to, because we're winning the war by a lot. We're waiting for Donald Trump to get back. I know you've had an incredible career. I want to talk to you a little bit. Obviously, I want you to save a lot of it for the stage. Otherwise, there's no reason to come see you other than maybe give you a big kiss and a hug, right? Which a lot of your fans would probably love to do. But I would love for you to get into how you were recruited into the secret space program and why you turned it down. Maybe talk a little bit about flat Earth and what do you know about that, and the fact that maybe you may or may not know about this advanced technology I like to call celestial chambers. The slang is called med beds out there in the real world, and what you know about that, and why you turned it down. I mean, I really would love to get into that discussion. Welcome, Laura.
Oh, thanks so much for having me, Mel. I really look forward to the conference. It's going to be amazing. The summit. Yeah. Wow. Okay. Why did I refuse to go to Mars? Well, I was targeted before birth, from what I've come to understand. I've talked to many people throughout my life that have helped bring clarity to this. A lot of it was through synchronicities. I recognized that there was some sort of attention on me, and I later learned that it was like psychotronic weaponry and just like this targeting, surveillance. And yeah, basically, the root of it is that I supposedly helped to assist Eisenhower's administration from the Galactics, and helped to inform them about what he warned us about, the military-industrial complex. So that take it with a grain of salt, like I do, right? I don't have fixed beliefs about it, but a book was given to me by a Native American woman about Eisenhower's relationship with the Tibetans from the Pleiades, and that there was an agreement to bring in a descendant to his family. And he was briefed about that. And actually, the folks that recruited me to go to Mars told me that he was briefed about a descendant coming in to help expose the truth, and that a whole migration of souls were going to come in and work together to bring about the truth, which is what we're doing. And they intercepted that information and pre-targeted me before I was born in order to put me on a different timeline, which relates to the alternative 3 scenario that was presented to the Eisenhower administration. That in the event of catastrophe, there would be, alternatives. Uh, One being going into underground bases, the other going to off-planet colonies like Mars. And I go into detail about that. You can read my book to find out more and what I present about at the conference. I can bring up more about that. But basically, alternative three, colonizing another planet in the event of catastrophe, uh, was a well-intentioned um, agenda to the ones that were hearing about it, that wanted to protect the human genome in the event of catastrophe. And so after I started to come to terms with this recruitment, and after I refused to go to Mars, I later on met Andrew Basiago, who was in Project Pegasus, a time travel um, project program that he was a part of as a child. They actually were the ones that helped me to understand also that I was pre-targeted before birth. So that was another confirmation, many confirmations along the way. And that, these well-intentioned, individuals weren't hearing the bigger picture of all that was going on, the level of infiltration, the many layers of the secret space programs. And this is what compartmentalism is. You don't know what's going on in another section of these just where these technology exchanges might be going on, or who knows what is just not fully known. So I've come to understand a lot about that, and that this alternative three was not necessarily coming from a positive group. And if this was an off-planet group, more than likely it was negative zetas and service to self, zetas that wanted to ensure that a certain timeline would manifest, which would mean that a certain number of individuals would be chosen to go off planet or into underground bases, while the surface population would be vulnerable to New World Order. So my refusal to go was an inner knowingness that I had, an agreement that I had, maybe even knowing that I might be pre-targeted to go off planet, that I would be here, stay here, and assist humanity in waking up to the truth of what we have been up against for thousands and thousands of years. The use of dark weaponry, including reversal technology that was placed in the planetary grid network to battery up and utilize dark technologies with what is harvested and siphoned from human energy, right? And that's where the psyops and the false flags and the indoctrination and the grooming of human populations come in.
Mhm.
That there could be a trajectory of an artificial nature based in engineered events, including weather events, that would steer us down a timeline that would lead to further enslavement or depopulation and New World Order. So I felt very strongly with this targeting or this potential recruitment to go off planet that I would not go, and I would disclose that if these things exist, that these aren't natural catastrophes, that we need to call out the dark weapons. We need to call out what's been happening for thousands and thousands of years, and this timeline manipulation, so that we understand what we're really up against and understand the depth of how deeply rooted this is in our galactic history that we don't learn about in school. So, the problem reaction solution was a part of this alternative three scenario, that if they keep, engineering these events, that we would think that we need to leave the planet, when in actual fact, we need to de-weaponize the weapons. We need to understand the power that we hold. We need to come together and begin to expose all of this in order to not escape a new world order, but to face it head on and to take our power back. And that's what I've been called to do. And it came very early on in my life, which helped me to refuse the tactics that they used to try and get me to go off planet.
Interesting. That is like probably one of the most fascinating subjects that I think anybody could dive into. And I've been down that rabbit hole. Guilty as charged. Andrew Biasago, the name you just brought up. I've been following Andrew for quite a long time. He's a lawyer from Paramus, New Jersey. He's been literally off-world, et cetera, et cetera. He's time traveled. I mean, this is a guy that's got an incredible vocabulary. It doesn't sound like a cuckoo, for Cocoa Puffs kind of guy. Very educated, et cetera. You would never think of Andrew Biasago to be in that realm, if you will. And so when you bought that name, it really brought chills to me, because I followed him extensively during the years of early Project Camelot, which, by the way, she's going to be there most likely on stage with you, Kerry Cassidy.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, tell us a little bit about what you learned firsthand from these people. Obviously, when you decided that not to go, You had a set of questions that led you to that decision not to go. What did you learn? What do they have off planet technologies that we're probably going to inherit under Donald Trump and beyond?
Right. Well, I mean, this goes into a lot of different things. I mean, when Andrew Bishago and I were working together, we came up with a joint quote. We really put our heads together for many, many years when I first became public in 2010. And so what we said is, it is a positive thing for the human race to put survival colonies on other planets. Earth has been struck by many cataclysms in the past, and so we should protect the human genome by placing human settlements on other celestial bodies. Yet when secrecy surrounding such projects tempts government to rob the free will of individuals and excludes humanity from debating a subject that implicates the whole human future, and diverts the destiny of a planet to serve an off-planet agenda, the conscience of a free people requires that such projects be undertaken in the bright sunshine of public scrutiny, not within the dark corridors of the military-industrial complex. And this is the thing with secrecy, when we don't tell the public what's going on, when they're voting people into office without truly knowing, what's happening behind the scenes. When we look at, the term disclosure, what is it disclosing? Is disclosure going to be false narratives that are covering up some deeper disclosure that we need to know? And that's what it really comes down to. So when we look at, what's happening on Mars, yes, there are bases on Mars. There are bases, on the moon, on Saturn. There's secret space programs. Tony Rodriguez talks about the Cirrus colony, and different missions to different planets. The Mars Defense Force, that Randy Kramer talks about. That was connected to what Eisenhower set up, the USMC Special Section. And that was basically a unit connected to the US Marine Corps that would hold up the moral ethics, uphold moral ethics to keep MJ-12 in check. Because after 1952, well, actually in 1952, July 1952, we unconditionally surrendered to the ICC Nazi Draco alliance, which meant that all negotiations with extraterrestrials when it came down to technology was between this ICC Nazi Draco alliance and MJ-12 and ETs. So technology exchanges had nothing to do with him. So there's one false narrative right there, that Eisenhower actually didn't sign treaties with the Greys like we hear. So layer upon layer of false narratives have been covering up the truth. And one of the things that we don't hear about is the Mars Defense Force. And the Mars Defense Force has been keeping their eye on MJ-12, and they sent individuals to Mars, like Randy Kramer, who served 17 years on the Mars colony, defending the colonies. And this was intended for the alternative three scenario. And they were also able to, kind of keep tabs on what was happening. And so that all gets very confused, because I wasn't actually in the secret space programs. And when I was recruited to go off planet, it wasn't into a secret space program. It was to be a permanent colonist. So when you look at, the multi-layers of secret space programs, and, you've got things that you've got levels that aren't communicating with other levels necessarily, but they shuffle, individuals around and put them in different places depending on how they're able to, make exchanges take place. And that's like sort of above my and beyond my expertise. But Eisenhower, after the unconditional surrender agreement in 1952, which was during the time where the UFOs flew over the Capitol, he set up the Earth Alliance, which is basically what the Trump administration is beginning to align with. And this is helping to rid the planet of the ICC Nazi Draco alliance. So the Mars bases and other bases, and how the Dark Fleet and the ICC Nazi Draco alliance own many planets and have bases and operations going on in our galaxy all over the place. This is to free and liberate our planet from their control. So the Earth Alliance, and the White Hats and Trump administration are all connected in that regard. And there's an aspect of this Mars Defense Force that is about liberating even Mars from the clutches of this control agenda, to help heal from things like the Maldek explosion that wiped off the life on Mars and also compromised Venus. So, it's like a lot to process and understand because of
Yeah.
how multi-leveled this is. And so all I can say is
Yeah.
what. are here to do on an Earth level in order to liberate our planet is just where my focus and attention is.
Yeah, I don't doubt because there's been speculation and people like, what's his name, Ishmael Perez and others who have said that they have evidence because they have communications. Some of these people can channel and talk to the Galactic Federation, etc., including Marina Jacoby, who's going to be on, at the Quantum Summit. So I think probably you and her will be a good fit on stage as well. And they're talking about the Galactic Federation, who gave us the quantum financial system, the XRP, for example. I mean, we know that they have technologies. How many of these technologies that we're speculating on do you think will become a reality in the next 8 to 10 years?